EDP. My name is Chris Hansen. I'm from the show Catch a Predator. Catch a Predator, I've seen your show. I ain't done nothing wrong, Chris. Well, let's talk about it. If you haven't done anything wrong, let's take a look at some of the things that you've said, or text messages that it looks like you've sent. And one of them, you sent a message that says, "Oh, it'll be okay, baby, I promise. I'll go slow to the speed of your liking. Whatever you don't want to do, I won't do. But if you enjoy it and want it all the way, then I shall satisfy my princess." Did you send this text message? I might have sent that, Chris. I might have done that, but what? You also sent some pictures here, EDP. One of them is a D pic, and another is a picture of a massive shit that you took. Why would you send these to a 13-year-old girl and then show up here today for a meeting? She's 13. She ain't tell me she was 13. Well, EDP, there's been a lot of accusations and a lot of text messages and, direct messages to a bunch of others that were in that age group. So are you denying that you did this? I gotta go. You already know that EDP445 was a massive YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers and found big money and success on YouTube. But like Jared Fogle, the Subway guy, he was and has been pretending to be someone he really is not. He's not just a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan with shitty content that 13-year-old kids were digging. Rather, he was what he proved to be, a Choski. A what? A motherfucking chomo, my boys. In 2010, Mr. EDP445 humbly started his career by producing shitty rap tracks that no one really listened to. After that failed, he decided to go on violent and autistic rants about hand-ag or football, not in the American sense. He also hosted a series called Don't You Hate That Shit?, where he would constantly bitch and cry about things that annoy him in life, like age of consent laws. Age of consent laws? What the fuck? Salads, obviously looking at him, he doesn't like salad much. Parental consent? What the fuck? Parental consent? And other shit no one really cared about. You would think a YouTube channel like that would completely fail and blow up in his face, as no one wants to watch a fat, balding man with the mind of a 13-year-old child constantly whine and scream about why he's such a failure at life. But to EDP's success, 13-year-old boys found this content absolutely hilarious. And from there on, his videos started blowing up and he was skyrocketing in popularity. This was only the beginning of this boy man myth and legend known as Eat That 445. We can't say that word on YouTube, but you know what it stands for. On July 9, 2020, EDP445 released a video concerning claims of him chatting up and hitting on underage minors. His young and lost fan base naturally ignored the warning signs, and he denied and covered the whole thing by calling it a mega conspiracy. Boy wanted to use Trump's playbook. Would it work? For a while, it seemed to. On October 14th, YouTuber Cold Raven released episode 8 of his series, Slaughterhouse. Cold Raven showed proof of EDP445 messaging minors, showing multiple conversations of him trying to hook up with underage girls. Cold Raven would methodically continue to release new messages, and eventually sent an account of his own, acting as an underage decoy, which EDP445 fell for. Still, his fan base ignored the fact that it was looking like EDP was a chomo in every respect, and they said shit about it. Instead, they would laugh at his outrageous ignorance. In November that year, EDP445 released a now-deleted video titled My Response to Cold Raven. In the video, he is seen busting down his faves at Wingstop, when he suddenly pulls his 1911 mil-spec 45 stainless steel handgun and continues to eat. On November 17th, EDP445 stated in a live stream, a group of no-life ass, no-put-getting mother decided to make a load of fake accounts, pretending to be fucking girls. And like a dumbass, I fell for it. And now everyone's on this fucking pedo shit. Despite this confession, his fan base still acted shocked and appalled when EDP fell for the same scam, just the third time. That same day, Keemstar invited Cold Raven onto the show to give some insight into the situation. EDP445 was invited too, but he didn't respond. Instead, that same day, EDP would do his own thing trying to defend himself and, of course, his popularity and fortune machine. He released 2 response videos directed towards Cold Raven. One video, since deleted, was 10 minutes long, and in this video he stated, I don't care about the law. If she's 15, 17, it's okay, as long as she's wearing skimpy clothing. What the fuck are you saying, Jared? I mean, EDP. Despite this confession, his fan base remained intact, and those advertisement dollars were still coming in. The fan base still acted shocked and appalled when the big fella fell for the same scam a fourth time. On December 11th, EDP 445 posted a picture of himself posing with jailbait, claiming that they were dating. Since the NFL did not allow in-person attendance, the picture was presumed to be doctored. Afterward, he was caught yet again texting a minor. EDP 445 released another response to Cold Raven, stating that he already had a girlfriend named Jessica, and that he did not plan on revealing her to his fans. Despite this confession, his fan base would not dwindle, and yet again, they still acted shocked and appalled when the big man with the mind of a 13-year-old fell for the same scam a fifth time. As of December of 2020, he has been caught texting a total of 8 minors. Is this Eat That Pep, or is this Cupcake Chosky? On April 18, 2021, another crew in the reincarnated making of Chris Hansen from Catch a Predator decided to lock in on EDP and expose his nasty and deviant ways. The Predator poachers recorded an interaction between EDP 445 and a decoy concerning messages that were exchanged by a plant that posed as a 13-year-old, and EDP 445 that contained a sexual content including a D-pic, a D-pic, a shit pic, yes, he posted a shit he took, and content involving either his ejaculate, can't say that on YouTube, and or master, can't say that word on YouTube either, but anyway, sent by EDP 445. You get the picture. What the fuck are you doing, EDP, you grimy motherfucker? When EDP 445 was caught at the spot, trying to hump this non-existent 13-year-old decoy, he ended up running into the new Chris Hansens and figured that the 13-year-old girl he wanted to dance with was actually a decoy. When EDP figured he ran into a setup, he claimed that he was just going to pick up cupcakes, which is, of course, a code word for a 13-year-old lolly jailbait. Chet Goldstein ended up contacting the local authorities on EDP 445, which made the biggest 13-year-old you have ever seen cry on camera and beg for mercy, just to let him do dirty deeds to those underage. In a twist of events, the pedo hunters somehow ended up botching the whole sting operation to the extent in which resulted in EDP walking free and avoiding legal prosecution. Many of the people who were associated with EDP announced that they had cut ties with him and have since he has lost a large number of his subscribers on his main channel at that time. Apparently the 10th time being caught with minors was too much, even for his fan base. This time, they had exclusive evidence and decided, since most of them were 13, they did not want to run into EDP themselves. His excuse? He is innocent and simply was pretending to be a Chomoski. Most recently, Jay Dion and Skeeter allegedly caught EDP 445 in yet another predator sting. This predator sting was done by the predator poachers, this time with the intention of not fucking up that money, evidence. In the newest video, it looks like the Catch a Predator new incarnates are poking fun at a serious situation. Jai Dion is wearing a cupcake costume, which is a reference to EDP's cupcake excuse from back in the day when he was busted with his hands in his pocket. Pockets that had holes in them. Holes in his pockets? What? Yeah, you know why he had holes in his pockets. Of course, fans are very interested in seeing the full video. However, it remains to be seen when it will be released. But it seems like Brian Turman Emerson Moreland has been back at it. This has led to EDP being able to be caught once again in the bait and release, at least until the new video drops or is shared with the police. But from the snippets and photos that have been shared, EDP looks like a deer caught in the headlights once again. After 2 years, he's still 13 years old mentally and still hiding in a closet with a jack sock. But if Jay Dion and Skeeter are doing their due diligence with this thing, EDP might not be eating cupcakes or that he might find himself at a sausage party in the state pen with plenty to eat, and none of it is sweet. When you look at the text that he sent, there is no way EDP can back out of who he is. Was he just a guy out for cupcakes? And is he the predator that no one really likes? It'll be okay, baby, I promise. I'll go slow to the speed of your liking. Whatever you don't want to do, I won't do. But if you enjoy it and want it all the way, then I shall satisfy my princess. When you go by a name EDP, and we all know what that stands for, you have to realize that this dude was and is a sexually deviant motherfucker. Are you serious? He's against, child advisory content. What the This dude's got issues, man. Where's he going? What's prison going to be like for him? Is he going to prison? Those are all the questions, right? It depends on if they botch the evidence or who gets involved. And some people might comment and say, oh, he's going to go to state prison. But really, he could possibly go to federal prison. For what? Using a communication device to entice a minor. There's plenty of people in prison that, thought they were talking to 13-year-olds, but they were talking to the police. But because the police didn't do this investigation, maybe the evidence is a little bit shaky. Maybe there's a chain of custody issue. I mean, there'd be a whole bunch of issues that his lawyers could argue, but the feds could possibly pick up this case. And I think they probably, depending on, whatever's out there on these videos, I think they probably will, right? Sometimes they like to leave, people that are famous alone a little bit and just send them over there. Send them over to the state. Would he make it in the state? No offense to anybody, but, I mean, Bill made it over there, right? Man, don't say that about Bill Cosby. He's America's dad. Well, not really. He was trying to put his, pudding in your Jell-O pop, and you didn't want it. So, he made it there. But what would federal prison be like for this cat? He would probably, I think he's got some kidney failure and all of that stuff. He'll end up probably going to a federal medical center. Maybe he'll go to Lexington. Maybe he'll go to Devon's in Massachusetts. And he'll be around people that are just like him. 40, 50-year-old, 13-year-olds. 30-year-olds that have the mind capacity of 14 and 15-year-old kids. These people fit a profile. This is what they do. This dude didn't just start doing this. I mean, this was, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. He continuously did this shit. He's got some issues. I mean, he's 30 years old or 32, sending pictures of, him taking a shit to who he thinks is a 13-year-old. Like, what the... We got the pictures. I didn't put them up because who knows what YouTube will say. They haven't monetized our last 7 or 8 videos. So, they probably would bang us on this one too. They probably will anyway. But just giving you some insight on this dude. This dude's a bad dude. No matter what people say, he's a bad dude. He's been a bad dude. What has he done that people, that he hasn't been, caught doing? How many 13-year-olds did he really talk to? They think he's a famous. He's so famous. And then, he sends like a pic of his pecker to, pecker? Is that allowed on YouTube? The word pecker? He sends a picture of his pecker to, who he thinks is a 13-year-old. Did you see the pictures of this dude with no shirt on? Like, what the? After you see that, who the fuck would want to see his, what the? You don't want to see a picture like that, right? This dude looks like a melted ice cream when he gets naked. Like, come on, man. But, he's 30 years old, in his 30s, sending pictures like that to who he thinks is a 13-year-old. That can tell you only one thing. He fits the profile, man. The dude's 13 mentally. If this dude wasn't on YouTube and getting money, what would he really have been doing with his life? He'd have been standing at, like BJ's or your local grocery store checking your receipt and like looking at, the youngsters when they walk by like, oh, let me see your receipt, sir. I have, everything's there. I see everything's there. I mean, this dude was going to Philadelphia Eagle games and doing all this stuff because, these social media platforms and YouTube put money in his pocket. He was able to make some things happen, go out and have a great time, right? This dude made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, man. And really, he was out there like Jared Fogle. Sometimes people have a chance at life and they blow it. This cat right here, he definitely shouldn't be around to victimize other people. He's victimizing folks, man. I shouldn't say folks, he's victimizing youngsters. And this is really what he's been doing. You don't have to be like, oh no, man, he's not convicted. Man, read the text messages. Think about the fact that he's, sending those pictures out. The fact that he's like taking a shit in the toilet. Like, man, get your, someone ought to, but is he going to be safe? You might remember the story at FCI Fort Dix, right? It's a low, right? Where all these, guys that were convicted of these sex offenses, and that is not me farting, that's the chair. I need a new one. Donation. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, Fort Dix, these dudes were in prison for doing this shit. They all end up with cell phones and then they're doing it again. Some of them end up with 17, 20, 30 years. Is someone going to assault this cat? Can it happen? It could happen, but probably not. He's going to lay his big ass in his bed. He's probably got a couple dollars put away. He's going to eat potato chips and ramen noodles until they call his name. Are the feds going to charge him with using a communication device to entice a minor and bang him with a mandatory minimum? I think the mandatory minimum over there could be 5, it could be 15. If he got that 15 piece, he won't be at Wingstop for a while, I can tell you that. But anyway, do I think he'd be safe? 100%. He's going to go to a special prison, probably a medical facility. He's going to be around like-minded people like himself. He'll probably be, and dudes, this ain't no racial shit, he'll probably be the 1 or 2 black dudes that hang out with all the white dudes playing Dungeons and Dragons. You always see that one black dude that's over there playing Dungeons and Dragons with them dudes, and you're like, yep, he was doing that EDP thing. Yeah, he was, he was doing that 445. He's one of them. But anyway, man, that's my little take on this cat. Big YouTuber, influencer for 10-year-olds. Dude's really, at the end of the day, I mean, even though he's not convicted, you just read the text messages, he's a scumbag. So anyway, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, that's our perspective on this piece of shit. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.